Hi guys, welcome back to cruzermans Inventions. We're on part 2 of the speaker kitchen rear speaker build. So these, as I showed you in part 1, I showed you my front speakers that I built for my kitchen, and these here are the back ones. So I'm just going to take you through pretty much how far I've got since part 1. Now, I showed you in part 1 how these were only really half done. They weren't even undercoated or painted. And so, hey Tiggy, don't stand on that, boy. So, okay, so we have these speakers over here, which are 8-inch Sony speakers, magnetically shielded. Pretty big magnets on them. And they are about 200 watts. I don't know the exact wattage of them, but I know that they are about 200. Beautiful rubber rims on them, very solid speakers. And then we have these Sony sets, which are an exclusive sort of a set, which, as you would have noticed, I actually taped up the backs. And the reason for that is because when this is pumping in this chamber, this one here I'm turning into a mid-range, so you don't want the back pressures of this one, because it's bigger, trying to blow this one up. So if you tape it off, and then you put a capacitor on it, which is using a 6.8 UF, 6.8 UF at 50V, and you can get these online. That's for the mid-range on the positive side, and then negative wire there, and then these capacitors at 6.8 are perfect for a 6-inch speaker because they take away all the bass and everything, and they just leave you with a beautiful voice, mid-range voice. So this is, yeah, so that's the mid-range. This is the wiring loom, which I'll take you through soon, and this is the tweeter. It is a piezo design. It's about 175 watts, and I've also got a capacitor for this. And here is its housing that I'm going to use, and that's why it looks like that up there. And I'm also using a 2.2 UF capacitor. So with some of these piezo speakers, they run a bulb, like a little bulb inside them. This one doesn't because it's a smaller one, but the 400 watt ones do, and they use a bulb capacitor instead of normal conventional capacitor like that. So yeah, so it's variable. You don't need a capacitor with these generally, but I like to use one on the smaller ones. So my one I'm using is over here, and it's 2.2 UF. Whoops, sorry about that. So that one is, yeah, this camera is not the best, it's not focusing in, but it's 2.2 UF at 50V, and once again, that just goes to the positive side, and then you've got your negative wire. It goes to the negative. And so this is the wiring loom, guys. My input broke as I took them out of these boxes originally, how they looked. And the housing broke on one of them. So I went along with the sander and just sanded it all squared it all off. And made little square holes in the back of these, so I could poke that wiring loom through. So I have 3 wires coming off here. One is straight for the base. This is how you can get around, well, without using crossovers, basically. This is a 3-way crossovers, really, in a sense. It's just that I'm not using any coils in it. And I'm not dampening out the bass at all in this line here, going straight to that one there. My systems are pretty big. I'm running about 300 to 600 watts, you know, probably 300 each side. So coming naturally out of the system is very good to the ear. It seems to be real good, up on power. Yeah, and then this one here, mid-range, and then the other one, tweeter. And you're probably wondering, well, what's that? Yep, I'll show you what that is. This is my design of a passive radiator. Now, a lot of you have looked into KEF speakers. They have a 3-way speaker, and down the bottom they have what looks like a 6x9 down the bottom, like a bass pad. And but it's actually, if you look into it, or look them up, there's nothing on the back at all. But they have some dampening pads here to try and make it sound less tinny. So what I've gone and done, guys, is just put a grill in here. Because I'm using an 8-inch as a base, I didn't really want these speakers to be ported at all, but I have gone and put a 1-inch port right in the middle of this. Now this is my own design of a passive radiator. The speaker in here, it's carpeted with this carpet on the sidewalls, and on the sidewalls and on the back. And that's to help deepen up the sound when you're listening to it. Now, when this one here starts pumping, it's down firing. There's the hole, and it down fires. And that one starts pumping. This one starts moving. And your port is actually in the very center of the speaker. It's a clever design. It looks like a speaker, it looks like it's running like a speaker, even sound like it is. It's just that it's just a passive radiator to help soften the blow from these. I didn't need to put it in there, but I'm just eager to see what it sounds like. So the back of these is just grill here and grill here in the front. I could have painted these if I wanted. I could have just blacked them out or whited them out. It's pretty hard to get white 6x9s, and ran with that, but it doesn't matter. It's all a test anyway, and these speakers, believe it or not, like I told you in the video 1, these are, when I was 10 years old, me and my dad went to the store and we got this stereo, and these were the very bases that were in these small little cabinets, these small little tiny cabinets that went with this stereo, a little Sony stereo. Well, the Sony stereo is long gone, and the mid-ranges and the tweeters are far gone, but I have these. And so this is a little tribute build to my pa. So I thought I'd add in, you know, a few more bits and pieces to make it really cool and finish it off. So this is pretty much part 1, guys. If I could just get in here for a quick second, I could show you well, underneath here, I'll show you, I've screwed in these feet here, guys, and it keeps it like 1 inch off the ground, so when the bass is in the hole here, it's not touching the ground, and it does give the best bass result, well, to do with bass. If you have a subwoofer hitting the ground, and you got a bit of carpet underneath of it, it sounds really good, and you get just awesome effects from it. Way better than if it was front firing or even firing up. Yeah, and it's less stress on your subwoofers because they naturally pop outwards. So if they were facing upwards, it actually stresses them out trying to pop upwards because of gravity. If they were facing down, they have more of a natural flow even to the ear. So let's try and turn this box around. Oops. So I did finish these cabinets, guys, and it has taken me a little while, but that's just what the input looks like at the back. The cabinets did turn out pretty shiny. I used a bit of plywood for the back end. Yeah, they turned out pretty good. I'm happy with them, and I can't wait to finish this one off now. And in part 3, we'll do a little fire up test. I have to go and find this app. Well, it's not an app. It's a store where you can actually find tunes and you can play them without getting a copyright and stuff, guys. It's stuff for testing speakers and that. So when you hear it in part 3, you'll know it's a tester, and I'll test out the mid-range, the bass, and the tweeter properly through my sound tester. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this round, guys. Pretty simple and pretty effective. How much did it all cost me? Well, I had bits and pieces already, and so really it was just the paint and the undercoat and glue and everything for these cabinets. So roughly about $50, $60, I think it was roughly. So awesome stuff, guys. Cool. I'll see you in the next video coming up. Cool, guys. Cruiser Man out.